back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is my channel, Novel Sarah-ndipity. Today I'm doing a tag. It is the mid-year book freakout tag, I think. But anyways, here's my list. Oh, got it. Oh my gosh, my feet are sweating. Take off the slippers. Okay. It is currently thunderstorming out, so if you hear like thundering and booming, I promise you there is not an apocalypse going on. It's just a thunderstorm. So here we are. So yes, I'm just gonna start right off. I'm really bad at tags. I'm really bad at this tag in particular. I think last year, I don't even think I uploaded it because I'm like, this sucks. So here we are. But I was on Princess from Castle Libraries gaming stream today, and she's like, who hasn't done the mid-year book freakout tag yet? And I'm like, Princess, don't come at me, I'm doing it today. So now that I told someone that I'm doing it today, I'm gonna upload this video whether or not it's trash. Either way, you're getting this damn video because I'm taking the time. I did my makeup, I did my hair, sort of. I am wearing my Naruto shirt today, and yeah, here we are. Also, I reorganized my bookshelves. I don't have that many viewers, but some of you might notice. And I made sure to put Kunama at eye level so you get to see him every video. You're welcome. Okay, I'm just rambled for 1 minute and 40 seconds. So 90% of you probably already clicked off of this. So for those of you that stayed, let's get into it. So far this year, I have read 29 books. I am 1 book behind schedule. My goal on Goodreads is 65 books for this year. So I'm not that far behind, and I'm hosting a readathon next month. So hopefully that gets me reading again, but I'm in like a horrible reading slump. So 1 book behind schedule is real good. Okay, anyways, let's get going. Question 1. This book that I've read so far this year. I am caught in between 3 different books. So yes, but I think I'm talking about all 3 of them at some point in this video, so I'm just gonna tell you what they are and then kind of circle back to these same books during different prompts. The first one is The Queen's Assassin by Melissa de la Cruz. I love this book. I saw some mixed reviews of this book on Goodreads. Like any book, I guess that argument isn't really like
valid because almost every book there are mixed reviews.
But some people say this is like a mainstream YA kind of book. Nothing's really like new done to it. So I think really it's just a book that I usually like to read. So this is the type of book I like to read. Typical YA fantasy romance book. The cover is absolutely gorgeous, and it was really just a book I adored. The second one, House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City 1 by Sarah J. Maas. This is going to be in almost probably everyone's mid-year book freakout tag, and it's either going to be under the book that it was the biggest disappointment or the one that people loved. Luckily, it's in my I love this book. I think this book made me more emotional than any book I've ever read.
I got really emotional, so
yeah, I cried. So here it is. And then the third one that's kind of tied for this first question is The Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. I already liked Catherine Purdy before this new series of hers. The Burning Glass trilogy is actually one of my favorite trilogies, and she is the same author. But yes, I'm also circling back to this book, but those 3 books are the books, like my top 3, they were all 5 stars for me, and I love them all, and I couldn't pick just one for best book of the year, so I'm pretty lucky. The next one is best sequel. I haven't read very many sequels this year or new sequels. The sequels I did read, most of them were rereads for me, so I thought, that's kind of weird. But I am going to go with a manga, and that is Yona of the Dawn. I think I started volume 1, 2, and 3, maybe 4. I don't know, but with each volume that comes out, I absolutely adore this manga. It's really a young girl coming into herself. The first volume is her. She is super spoiled. There's just a lot going on. Tragedy strikes and she is kicked out basically of the palace. She is a princess, and really sad, but really great. Like I said, I think I'm on volume 4 or 5. And with every volume, I am just reminded that this manga is just really great in almost all aspects. It deals with a lot of really hard-hitting, tough topics, and that's something I really enjoy. But it also has a lot of really great humor, jokes, friendships. So yeah, I love this manga. It's a new one I picked up this year. I have been getting these from the library, so it's just something that I was lucky enough to come across, so yes. The next one is a new release I haven't read yet, and this one is, I also don't own it, so It is Seven Deadly Shadows, and this is by Courtney Almada, or Almeida, and Valine and Matani. Probably butchering that. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get my laptop for this. Oh, okay. I know I have the cutest stickers. Okay. So this one follows Kira Fujikawa, has always been a girl on the fringe, bullied by her peers, ignored by her parents. The only place Kira has felt at home is at her grandfather's Shinto shrine, where she trains to be a priestess. But then one night, her life is shattered. Her family's shrine is attacked by a vicious band of yokai demons. And so that's just like the first 3 or 4 sentences of the synopses. I haven't read on. I like to go into my books completely blind. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. Everyone on my channel knows that I am an absolute sucker for Japanese folklore, myths, culture, legends, everything about Japanese, anything Japan.
I am here. That sounds amazing. I want it.
This book came out in January, so no excuse not to own it or have read it, but 90% of these books are unread, so oops. Moving on, number 4 is anticipated reads for the second part of the year. So these are new releases for the second part of the year. I have 2. The first one is probably going to be on a lot of people's, and that is Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. I love this trilogy. The first 2 books had me absolutely entranced. It follows Nari, and basically she is not like other girls, but this is an adult high fantasy, and so it kind of gives you the not like other girls feel, obviously, because she doesn't know who she is, she doesn't know what kind of power she has, and gives you a little bit more
Meat and potatoes.
But this book, oh my gosh, I am in a huge, not huge, there's only 3 other people in this like buddy group read that I'm in, but yes, there are a few. There's Noria, there is Joe, and there's Lauren. Us 3 are kind of reading this series together. Our DM Twitter chats get kind of heated. Yeah, but it's super fun. I love this series. We are so excited to read this book together. Here we are. And then the second one is actually Iron Heart by Nina Varela. Varello? I think it's Varela. I don't have like the book anywhere in front of me, but I think that's her name. It is book 2. I think it's going to be a trilogy. This is a basically a female romance. You don't really know that until kind of not well into the book, but kind of well into the book. And it's basically these like android robots that were made by humans, but now these are the beings that kind of rule society, and the humans are actually the slaves of these beings. And it's a female romance with kind of 2 different beings or organisms. I wouldn't really say that like they fell in love. I feel like right now in book 1 they kind of just have an attraction to each other, but that's definitely going to be changing real soon, so excited for that. Number 5 is biggest disappointment of the year. This one unfortunately is kind of easy for me, but this is Shadow City by Anna Mosikat, I'm not really sure. This book I got a e-arc, and it actually came out in November of 2019, but I didn't get to it for a little bit. It was really hard for me to get through this, and I kind of went on like a kind of a rant review for this book because I think it was my biggest disappointment. I had such high expectations for this book, and let me just read you a couple little snippets of my Goodreads review. If you want the whole thing, I'll definitely link it down below. You can find me on Goodreads if I forget. But it's there. At 13%, my note to myself was as follows. Not sure where this is going, but I'm intrigued. It's a post-apocalyptic vampire something. So like, I wasn't sure. There's a lot of stuff being thrown at you with this book, and yeah. And then 50% through, my note to myself was, still very unsure of what to think about this. So many characters, so many themes, so much plot, which you'd think wouldn't be an issue with so much going on. My intrigue was definitely there. And then I kind of go to unpack that. And the biggest takeaway from this review is basically this book just felt like the author had an idea for 6 different books. And instead of writing 6 different books, she decided to take all 6 ideas and jam pack it into one book. There was just way too much. There were too many characters, there were too many themes, and far too many plots and subplots. I actually really thought that the idea and the premise of the book was good. I just thought there was way too much going on. You couldn't keep anything straight. There was so many characters and character relationships, and parts of the book when it changed from one character to another, it felt like a different book. Like, it legit felt like you were reading 6 books at once and they kind of went together. And it would have been better for the author to take all those different ideas and just mold them really well into basically different series. But the overall rating for this book on Goodreads is 3.96, so almost a 4.0, which is actually really good for a book on Goodreads. So maybe it's just me, maybe it just didn't click with me, but I mean, a lot of other people seem to enjoy it if it has that high of like just a overall rating, but it was a disappointment for me. It wasn't for me. I won't be going on, unfortunately, and yeah, so biggest disappointment. My biggest surprise, probably gonna make some people mad, but oh well, was Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I love this book. I was intrigued the entire way through. I'm pretty sure I gave this a 4 stars. Now that I think about it, I surely did. And I knocked that 1 star off because when the kind of twist and turn in the book, you know, that one thing that happens in every book at about 75% through, like plot twist kind of thing. I didn't really like how Leigh Bardugo kind of handled that, because you have one character and then you have the second character. And then you have like the side character. So the side character goes to character A. Let's call it character A because I don't want to give any spoilers away. I just want to kind of explain to you guys what caught me off guard and that I didn't necessarily like. So side character goes to character A and they go,
Hey, character B is being real shady. I don't really have any proof of this, just kind of what I'm thinking. I know you've been getting pretty close to character B, but I think it's time for you to run away.
Character A is like,
Oh, sure, I don't need any proof. I guess I'll just, hit the road.
and it's just, it seemed weird. Like, you don't need any proof. There was no confrontation. There was nothing to indicate that character B was like this at all. And I can see where the story is going. I just don't like how it got there. So that was my complaint. Otherwise, I loved this book. I'm gonna be starting Siege and Storm real soon, but I mean, for all the hate that it seems to get on book Twitter, sorry, not sorry. Moving on. Favorite new author. This is going to be basically Inhaling Hair. Cool. 17 minutes already? God, talk way too much. Okay. One of my favorite new authors is Melissa De La Cruz. I think this is her debut novel, if I'm not mistaken. But it follows the Queen's assassin. I think his name is Kaeldon. Kaeldon Holt is the kingdom's deadliest weapons. No one alive can best in speed, strength, or brains, which is why he's the Hearthstone Guild's most dangerous member. Also why he is the Queen's assassin, bound to her by magic. And then it follows Shadow. She is in a different guild. She has been training all of her life to like kind of be like Cal. He is one of her like, you know, people she looks up to, wants to be like, kind of strives to be, and things happen and their two basically character lines intertwine, hence the book. That's the whole plot. I really liked the relationship in this book. I really liked the action scenes in this book. I liked how fast the book moved. There weren't really any slow points. It was definitely a book that was written for someone with my reading taste. Loved it 100%. I will be reading all of Melissa De La Cruz's works from here on out, including this series. So thank you, Melissa. It's fantastic. Newest fictional crush, coming back to one of my other 5-star best books of the year so far books. Basically, Bastion. One, I'm really loving his character art here. This is like the exclusive edition, holographic, sprayed edges, okay, exclusive edition. I love it so much. Okay, one, fine. Okay, but besides the fact that he is very attractive, I really liked his character pretty much arc in book 1 of The Bonecryer's Moon. I like his attitude, I liked his drive, I liked his past and kind of how it molded him into the character he is in this book. I like how his character develops throughout the book, and also this book had one of the best hate to love YA romances I've ever read, and just a sucker. So yeah, I love Bastion. Bastion is my boy, so here he is. Favorite new character, and that is going back to my third, I really liked Bryce Quinlan in House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City 1. I liked that she was her character is meant to break down stereotypes about women. And I really liked how Sarah J. Maas kind of handled that. Basically, there's nothing wrong with a woman or a female that likes to party, that may show too much skin. Like, our skin is our skin. Her attitude, like being able to stand up to men in any circumstance. I loved her entire character. In this book, also, Sarah J. Maas plays with and develops how she handles a character with trauma. Bryce has trauma, and I feel like it also added another layer on top of Bryce's character, and it was so well done, and I appreciated it so much. And so it kind of just added, like I said, that extra layer to Bryce's character and character development, and I really liked how basically she was breaking down walls, she was breaking down those stereotypes I was talking about, and really this character is basically here to show women that they can be empowered and they can be empowered their way. So loved it. 100% Bryce. Favorite character so far of this entire year and all of these books that I'm talking about. The next one is a book that made you cry. Here we are. I will not give you spoilers to why this book made me cry. It actually made me cry twice. The first scene that I am talking about is actually, I guess, part of the synopsis of this book. I did not read the synopsis of this book, so I wasn't spoiled for it. And I'm sorry for those who read this book and knew that this scene was coming, because I could only imagine the impact that it kind of took away from the scene. But I wasn't spoiled for this scene, and it hit real damn hard. So yeah, cried. And then I cried again later on towards the end-ish of this book, and yeah, it was real hard hitting. I might have even cried 3 times, like 100 pages later. So actually, the last 30% of this book, you'll just be an emotional wreck, and it's just something you have to be prepared for going into this book. A book that made me happy. So I was gonna talk about Crescent City again, but I kind of already told you all why this book makes me happy, between the hard-hitting scenes, the characters, and yeah, so a book that made me happy. Okay, I can kind of talk about that one. So I read Crown of Feathers and Heart of Flames by Nikki Pareto. I have these books. They're right up here. Sprayed edges. So book 1, book 2, chunky little guys. So this book really does make me happy. The trope of, I call it Mulan retelling trope, but I mean, that trope won't be the same definition for everyone. Basically, it's when a girl has to dress up as a guy to get what she needs. That's in book 1, 100%. I really enjoyed everything about these books. This book also made me cry, book 1. It kind of gets resolved at some point in the series, but won't tell you guys when, where, how. These books really did make me happy because it is a female, again, showing that she can be powerful. So our main character has to disguise herself as a boy to basically get into this secret society of Phoenix Riders. All the Phoenix Riders and Phoenixes are supposed to be dead. They were all supposed to be killed off. She is a descendant of a Phoenix Rider, and she finds this basically secret society of Phoenix Riders. Except when she finds them, she learns that only males can train to be Phoenix Riders, and so she's like, you know what? I'm a guy now. But it's a fantastic story. It has just beautiful storytelling, amazing characters. They're written just so well, and so this series does make me extremely happy. We're almost at the end, guys. 25 minutes. I'm gonna despise editing this. Okay. Most beautiful book I've bought this year. I have 2. The first one is definitely Crescent City, because here's the cover. Absolutely gorgeous. Take the dust jacket off. It has a little crescent moon. And then the inside has this beautiful work of art. And it just makes this book everything that I needed it to be. So yeah, here's the first one. And then the second one is the Owl's Crate edition of Bonecryer's Moon. It has that holographic, almost blue tint, where the original has more of a greenish tint. And then it has these gold spray pages, and it just gives an amazing overall look of this book. So 2 most beautiful books I bought this year. And then Books I need to read by the end of the year. So I have books that I need to read by September. I have a video for that up already. I'm not gonna kind of go through that. I guess I'll just kind of explain the books I need to read. But I have physical books I need to read by September because I'm moving to Japan and I obviously can't take 90% of my books because they're all unread. So I wanted to kind of prioritize some. And so I have already an entire video up of that. I will link it here and down there and everywhere. And then by the end of the year, I just want to complete some series. I want to start new series. Kind of already talked about 3 specific books that I want to read for like the second part of 2020, and I really just want to finish some series before I go. So I just made a new shelf on my Goodreads for TBR owned Kindle books, and there's 108, so I will definitely have enough Kindle books while I'm in Japan. But I am currently working on making a Goodreads shelf for my owned physical TBR books, so that's just something I'm working on, and who knows, I'll get to probably very few of them if I'm actually leaving in September. That only gives me like 2.5 months, so less than 2.5 months now. So I'm
almost about to panic.
But anyways, yeah, so that is the end of my tag video. I hope you enjoyed. This is 29 and 55 seconds long, so we're gonna have to see how far I can get this video down to. But yeah, there's a bunch of pauses and stuff, so we should be fine. But anyways, okay, that's it. See you guys all later. Okay, bye.